Welcome back. In this section, we will be discussing about the grouping statement. So what is grouping statement and why we need it? What are the uses of the grouping statement and how are we going to write SQL using a grouping statement? So to start with the grouping statement, let's first start with the definition. So a grouping clause is used to group in the same rows of values into summary rows. Right, what that means is like you have a group by statement where you have conditions of the columns, and the group by statement will group those unique values in the columns that is present in the group by clause into a single row. And usually the group by clause is accompanied by the aggregate functions like sum, count, and average. But it is not necessary to have aggregate function. If we do not have aggregate functions, columns should be present in the group by clause. Otherwise, we should have an aggregate function. What's the difference between group by and an aggregation? So simply saying an aggregation is the task of collecting a sort of values to return a single value. So which is done usually by the help of aggregate functions like sum, count, average, and so on. So it boils down to a single value. A group by clause usually groups by the unique values that are present within the inner column. That means it doesn't have to be a single value. It can be another table, but the column present in the group by clause will have a unique value. So moving on with the uses. So grouping data and performing operations are normally used to do group by statements, following by the filtering data by each unique values, and also getting statistics on data using aggregate functions such as sum, count, average, and so on. So these are some of the uses of the group by clause. So now let's ahead look at the syntax. So in terms of the syntax, usually we have a select and a column statement from table where if we have where present, where condition, and then we follow by a group by clause. So this is the group by, and we have a column names, or we can also have a single column or multiple column in the group by clause, and that columns can be present in a select statement. So if we have conditions in the group by clause, we usually specify using a having statement or having and then conditions. And in order to order our result, we use order by clause. So this is usually a normal function for the group by clause. So now let's move ahead and look at some of the examples using the group by statements. So from our series, let's look at the first statement. So let's just count the total number per product. So for that, we use a select and then count, item order count as total sales number, product ID, from orders group by product ID. So here we are counting item order count per product from the orders table, and that gives us the total sales number. So this is not same as the total items sold, which in order to get that, we can use the sum function instead of count. Likewise, let's look at the second. Let's calculate the total revenue per product. So to calculate the total revenue product, we will do select orders from orders table, obviously. Select orders dot product ID, sum orders dot item order count as total items sold, sum orders dot item order count into unit price in order to get the revenue as total revenue per product. From orders, inner join product, because our unit price is coming from the product table. So we have to do an inner join on the products tables on orders.product ID equals to product.product ID and group by orders.product ID and order by orders.product ID. Likewise, and if we want to check a duplicates in a row, we can also do that. For instance, has a customer brought the same item or not? So to do that, we do select customer ID, product ID, and count asterisk as duplicate underscore count from orders and a group by and a customer ID, product ID, and item order count. We might not need the item order count at the moment, just if we just want to calculate the duplicates, but item order counts gives the item has the order bought the same number of items as well. So having, and then as we said, we can use conditions in the having statement, having an account asterisk greater than 1. So number of rows count greater than 1. So let's move on and see this on hands-on, and let's write some SQL queries. So I will open up PG admin as before. So let's start the PG admin. Here I just want to check on the right hand side we have orders table, which has the order ID as before, customer ID, product ID, item order count, and order date. And the products table has product ID, name, unit price, category name, and description. So if you see the product table, we'll see something like this. So product ID, name, unit price, category, and description. If you want to see orders table as before, so we got this orders table as well. So now let's start with the first statement. The first statement is like counting the total items sold for different products. So we want to do select, and then in the select statement we have count item ordered count, because we are going to take a reference of the order table, so which has item order count, as we're gonna name it as total underscore sales number. Okay, and then we also want to see the product PRD product ID on the side, and we from orders table orders, and we want to group by product ID, PRODUCT product ID. All right, so we want to run this statement and see okay, we have a small hint. So what happened? So item ordered, okay, there is a small type ordered count. Okay, and let's go ahead and type that again. So sure enough, we see that total sales number is 3 for product ID 9, and so on. If you want to order this by, let's say product ID, we can also put this product ID in front. So we'll just put this product ID in front and then print the statement. So if you want to order by, let's say product ID, we can do order by PRODUCT product ID, and we can select this and then run this. If you select this and run this, it will only run the selected commands. Sure enough, we have for product 1 we have total sales as 1, for product 2 we have 3, and so on. Comment this, and then let's move ahead. Let's look at the second case to get the total revenue per product. So let's start with the select, SQL select, and we will start with certain columns, but we want to do it from the orders table, and we also want to do it from the do an inner join on the product table, inner join on PRODUCT product table. I will fill out the condition later on. So now here in the select statement, we want to have is from orders or the orders the .PRODUCT product ID, product.id. The reason we have to do orders.product ID is because the product ID is present in the product table and the orders table as well with the same name. So we have to specify which product ID value we want to take, and then we do sum, and we can do orders.item PRED ordered underscore count. Okay, from orders table we want to get the item order count as total item underscore sold, and sum orders dot item ED ordered underscore count into unit price. Per product, total revenue per product. Now we have the orders table. So if you look over here, then the previous example, we have a count in the previous example for total sales number, and total here we have a sum. So this indicates that we are summing the items order count. So in one order, it can have 3 items order count. So we are summing that 3, but here we are just counting that as 1. So, and then we have inner join. We need to have the condition on orders.PRODUCT product ID should be equal to PRODUCT product ID. All right, and then we want to use the group by clause on orders.PRODUCT product ID. Let's go ahead and look at this example. And sure enough, we have the product ID, total items sold, and the total revenue per product. So for product ID 9, we sold 6 items, and then the total revenue was $13.79. If you want to make this in the order, we can do order by as before, order by orders.product product ID. Okay, so this will order it by the product ID. And if you want to see which item had the highest revenue, we can also order by the total revenue per product. So we can do, let's try this, TL total revenue per product descending. Okay, let's try this. And sure enough, over here, so the item 8 had 20 rate as total revenue, which is the highest, and then 16 revenue, which is a product ID 10, and then $13.7, and then 9, and so on. And okay, so now let's move ahead with the third example. So if you want to check if the customer has brought that same product twice or not, we can do select, and then we have to do it from orders table. So we're going to do from ORDR orders, and then we will use the having cost later on. Let's fill up this one. So from the orders table, we can see that we have a customer ID and the product ID. We can use CUSTOM customer ID, product ID, count asterisk as DUPLIC duplicate count, and then we want to do it group by customer ID or product ID, or DUCT product ID, and item or DRD ordered CND count, and then we want to do having count asterisk as greater than 1. All right, so let's run this, and sure enough, we can see that customer 3 bought product 9 twice, and customer also the customer 3 bought product 10 twice. So in order to confirm this, let's look at the orders table here. And so from here, let's select orders table over here, and let's look at the customer ID 3 and the product ID 9. Customer over here, there is 1. So customer 3 and product ID 9, and customer with the ID 3 brought product 9 twice. And for the 10, so over here, one customer 3 brought product 10, and another one over here, customer 3 also brought product 10. So these are the duplicates. So customer 3 bought product 9 and 10 2 times. In the next section, we'll be discussing about the joins.